The 49ers just lost 30-18 at home, coming off a bye week, to the Indianapolis Colts, who aren't even good, which means the 49ers aren't good either. Their record is 2-4, and they've lost 4 games in a row. They've also lost 10 of their past 11 home games, which is hard to fathom. Here are their grades for their latest dud. Jimmy Garoppolo. F. Garoppolo never should start another game for the 49ers. If Trey Lance is remotely healthy, he should start next week and the rest of the season because Garoppolo is finished. He was awful against the Colts. Sure, it was raining, but Carson Wentz played in the rain too and he wasn't awful. He was pretty good. Garoppolo turned the ball over 3 times, 1 fumble and 2 interceptions. On the second pick, Garoppolo threw into quadruple coverage. But what bugs me most is what he said after the game. When asked if his calf held up, he smiled and said, "It held up. Definitely felt it at times." Which means he used his injury as an excuse for his poor performance. He seems to always blame his poor performances on nagging injuries, and he seems to always have an injury. Enough with this guy. He's not tough enough or good enough to be a starting quarterback anymore. The 49ers should have figured this out last year. Running backs, A-. Elijah Mitchell rushed for 107 yards, but only 27 yards came after the first quarter. Trey Sermon never played, and Kyle Juszczyk never got the ball. Wide receivers, B-. Deebo Samuel gained 100 receiving yards and scored a touchdown. He and Mitchell were the entire offense, but Samuel also dropped a pass and fumbled. For such a good wide receiver, Samuel sure drops and fumbles the ball a ton. Tight ends, C-. Charlie Warner had a long catch, Ross Dwelley had a holding penalty, and George Kittle once again didn't play. Offensive line, B-. Trent Williams didn't play, and the unit didn't fall apart without him. Makes you wonder if Williams is worth all the money they pay him. Defensive line, D. Javon Kinlaw didn't play, and his replacement, Kentavious Street, recorded a sack. So now Street has 2 career sacks, and Kinlaw has just 1.5. What a bust Kinlaw is. The rest of this group struggled to stop the run and generate pressure on Carson Wentz. Linebackers, A. Fred Warner and Azeez Al-Shaair each recorded 9 tackles and recovered a fumble. They were 2 of the best players on the field. Cornerbacks, F+. Josh Norman forced 2 fumbles, but also committed a long pass interference penalty and gave up a touchdown. The 49ers cornerbacks committed 4 pass interferences and generally played awful. Emmanuel Mosley got burned before he left the game with an injury. The 49ers committed 97 yards worth of pass interference penalties. Safeties, C-. Jimmy Ward saved a touchdown with a tackle at the 2-yard line, and Jaquiski Tartt committed a long pass interference penalty before he left the game with a knee injury. He made it 6 games before getting injured this season. Special teams, C-. Backup kicker Joey Sly missed an extra point, but also made a 56-yard field goal in the rain, which is extraordinary. Coaches, F-. The entire team is an undisciplined, poorly coached mess that commits tons of penalties and mistakes on offense, defense, and special teams. And this is year 5 of the Kyle Shanahan era. Year 5 of his original 6-year contract. If he were a good coach, the 49ers would be a good team by now. But they're not, and he isn't. He's an overrated head coach whose record is now 31-39. The fans booed him and his team as the first half ended, as they should have. Shanahan is now coaching for his job. The fans have lost confidence in him, so he's on the hot seat. He has to give the team a reason to keep him around next year, and he's failing to do that. In this game, he started out well with a touchdown on his first drive. He had 2 weeks to script that drive, and it showed. But after that, his offense totally fell apart. He couldn't think or adjust in the heat of battle. He simply folded and got out-coached for the 6th time this season. And now he needs Lance to save the season and his job. Lance, the rookie quarterback with the sprained knee. The rookie quarterback Shanahan chose not to develop this offseason. Shanahan only has himself to blame for this mess.